It happened in a way no one expected. Not loud, not dramatic, but quietly powerful enough to shake the entire fandom. Esther Yu spoke, and the words she chose instantly became the most replayed, most analyzed, and most debated sentences of the week. They were not a confession, and they were not a denial either. But to fans, they sounded dangerously close to a relationship reveal, especially because every word seemed to point in one clear direction: HeYu. The moment took place during what was supposed to be a normal public interaction. Esther Yu appeared calm, relaxed, and thoughtful. But when the conversation shifted toward emotions, personal growth, and meaningful connections, her tone subtly changed. Fans noticed it immediately. She slowed down, chose her words carefully, and smiled in a way that felt different from her usual playful expression. Then she said something no one was prepared for. She talked about how important it is to have someone who understands you without needing explanations, someone who stays consistent even when things are quiet. On their own, those words might not have caused chaos. But given the long history of rumors linking her to HeYu, they struck like lightning. Within seconds, clips of her statement spread across social media. Fans replayed them again and again, listening closely, reading subtitles, comparing translations, and dissecting every phrase. Comment sections exploded with one question repeated over and over again. Was she talking about him? What made the situation even more intense was that Esther Yu didn't speak in vague or general terms. She used language that felt deeply personal. She mentioned trust built over time. She talked about feeling safe being herself around someone. She said that real connection doesn't need constant attention or public display. To many fans, this sounded less like philosophy and more like lived experience. Naturally, HeYu's name began trending alongside hers almost immediately. Fans connected the dots without hesitation. Over the past months, there have been countless rumors, alleged late-night outings, matching schedules, and subtle online interactions. None had ever been confirmed, but together they created a context that made Esther Yu's words feel heavier and more intentional. People started revisiting old moments with fresh eyes. Interviews where Esther Yu blushed unexpectedly. Behind-the-scenes clips where she and HeYu seemed unusually comfortable with each other. Fan cams capturing quiet laughter while cameras were focused elsewhere. At the time, these moments were brushed off as friendship or coincidence. Now, fans wondered if they had been hints all along. What truly shocked many was how emotionally mature Esther Yu sounded. Longtime fans commented that this felt like a different side of her, less bubbly, more grounded. She spoke like someone who had experienced something meaningful and wanted to protect it rather than display it. That shift alone convinced many that her words were far from random. As the discussion grew louder, anonymous industry accounts began posting vague confirmations. They didn't name names, but they suggested that Esther Yu's words were not misunderstood. According to these posts, her inner circle wasn't surprised by the reaction because the meaning was clear to those who knew her well. While unverified, these claims only added fuel to the fire. Then came another twist. Shortly after Esther Yu's words went viral, fans noticed that HeYu liked to post about emotional understanding and quiet companionship. It was a small action, but in the middle of the storm, it felt deliberate. Fans saw it as a silent response, acknowledgement without direct involvement. The timing was impossible to ignore. Esther Yu spoke when rumors were already at their peak. If she wanted to shut them down, she could have chosen clearer language. Instead, she spoke in a way that invited interpretation, almost encouraging fans to read between the lines. That choice made many believe she was no longer trying to hide completely. Of course, not everyone agreed. Some fans urged caution, reminding others that celebrities often speak metaphorically and that projecting relationships onto personal reflections can be unfair. They emphasized respecting privacy and avoiding labels without official confirmation. But those voices were quickly drowned out by the emotional intensity of the moment. What stood out most was Esther Yu's confidence. She didn't look nervous. She didn't backtrack or laugh it off. She stood by her words calmly, as if she knew exactly how they would be received. That confidence convinced many fans that whatever she was hinting at, she was comfortable with it being partially known. The fan reaction was overwhelming. Supporters flooded social media with messages of happiness and encouragement. Many said they were proud of Esther Yu for speaking honestly, even indirectly. Others expressed hope that she had found someone who truly understood her, regardless of who it was. Still, the majority were convinced that the person she described could only be HeYu. As hours turned into days, the conversation refused to fade. Media outlets picked up the story, carefully avoiding direct claims while emphasizing the impact of her words. The phrase "shocking relationship words" became permanently attached to her name. Analysts began debating whether this moment marked a turning point in how Esther Yu approached her personal life publicly. Interestingly, neither Esther Yu nor HeYu issued any clarification. No denial, no confirmation, just silence. And in the world of celebrity culture, silence is rarely accidental. Fans interpreted it as acceptance of the speculation, or at least a refusal to deny something true. Meanwhile, subtle changes were noticed. Esther Yu appeared more relaxed in later appearances, her smile softer and her energy calmer. HeYu also seemed unusually at ease, according to fans who closely followed his activities. While subjective, these observations strengthened the belief that something real existed behind her words. As time passed, the narrative shifted from shock to quiet certainty. Fans stopped asking if Esther Yu was talking about HeYu and began discussing what kind of relationship it might be, private, protected, and built slowly away from the spotlight. Still, it's important to remember that nothing has been officially confirmed. Esther Yu never named HeYu directly. HeYu never spoke publicly about her. Agencies released no statements. Everything remains within the realm of interpretation, speculation, and fan discussion. But sometimes, confirmation doesn't arrive as a declaration. Sometimes it comes as a feeling that too many people recognize at once. Esther Yu's words carried that feeling, real, personal, and carefully chosen. For now, fans are left replaying those words, holding onto them, and waiting for another hint, another moment, another quiet signal that could turn speculation into certainty. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on your favorite celebrity news. Until then, Esther Yu's shocking relationship words remain one of the most talked about moments of the year, not because they revealed everything, but because they revealed just enough.